I was literally, I ran back in as soon as I saw the Rudiger challenge, and it just, so much was going on in the last 5 minutes. I didn't even think that Jorginho was gonna, like I was feeling for him to take that penalty in that moment, but nerves are still as usual, and getting the win, it just feels so good in the last minute. A classic game, the rivalry, it means so much. Yeah. Amazing stuff, man. It's
one of those games of football, like, as a fan, when you win a game of football like that in the dying minutes, it's hard to match that feeling, never mind beat it.
Yeah. I mean, we felt at one point we were on jubilation, we were winning 2-1, then they get a comeback, good goal from them. We thought we were down and out, on comes Romelu. And Rudiger wins 2 penalties in a row, like, it's crazy. Yeah, great. It is great for that. It's really enjoyable and we'll be able to live off it. But I'm sure Tuchel will be going away from that actually not that happy. We've gone from a side that probably was struggling to score goals but could defend really well to now being a bit leaky at the back and scoring lots of goals. So we need to find a good balance. But that's a game where I'll take the points and run.
Absolutely right. Because it's quite difficult sometimes when the rain's coming down, December, it's cold out. It's difficult to get up for it as well. 3 o'clock on a Saturday is that traditional slot. What a game of football. And Matt Davies-Adams made the point on commentary. It'll be first on Match of the Day tonight. It will. And if you haven't seen the whole game, it's worth watching because it was it was an instant classic.
Yeah, 100%. And we said before the game that Leeds are the type of team that can perform like that. When they're up for it, they've got the players to do so. They've got Bielsa, the change that he made, taking off Rafinha. A lot of Leeds fans were probably looking at that and thinking, what is he doing? And then the sub literally scores in the first 2 minutes. His first goal. It always happens against us. His first goal in the Premier League. But I think we just showed a lot of resilience as well. Rudiger still up for it in the last few minutes, being in the penalty box. We've seen him all over the pitch today. So, yeah, I think it was just the mentality. Again, we've seen the fact that the resilience and the fact that we just keep on going to the last minute.
It's one of those momentum builders as well, isn't it? Because if you turn up today, you win the game 1 or 2-0, you get an early goal and it kind of rides through. You don't have the scenes in the dressing room that will be going on right now because there'll be a lot of that. There'll be a lot of that buzz and that excitement. That it does feel like a result that you can build on. You go, okay, we haven't been at our best today, like you said, and there's certain elements to iron out, but big win, big 3 points, especially with Liverpool, Man City both getting maximum points as well. Had to win, and we've got it.
Yeah, indeed. It's definitely something we can take and improve on. Like, it's something that we could go, okay, we've managed to get 3 points there, we've won, it's really good, but we need to make sure we're dominating games and not letting teams like that come back in. I mean, we're facing, I think, Brighton, Villa, Everton, Wolves in our next kind of 4 games. And again, they could be quite similar games where people are sitting back and waiting for us to attack, they're getting us on the counter. And we need to learn from what we've done today and kind of dominate that game and fully put it to bed. We've been struggling recently of games like this where we are dominating, we have the higher possession, we have more shots, we have the better chances, but because they sit back, we really struggle. So if we can use today as a learning point, really, I'm sure that, as you said, celebrating, they'll be happy, but I think all of them will know it has to be better. We can't be conceding 2 goals like that and kind of defending not like we were 3 months ago. And yes, we do have injuries, that is fair enough. But yeah, no, a lot of learning points to take away from this, that's for sure.
Absolutely right. Well, we spoke about before the game how the rivalry was very intense between these 2 teams and quite a lot of social media reaction kind of updating that for us as well. Chelsea Leeds, great rivalry. First league game with a full house for 18 years. Come on, Chelsea. And it absolutely paid off, didn't it, in the end? En route to Stamford Bridge, buzzing for this one. Chelsea Leeds, a great historic rivalry and a fixture that's been missed for recent years. Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff, 2 weeks before Christmas, perfect. Should be a good atmosphere. Come on, Christmas bang on, absolutely bang on.
Both fans are on it today as well. Fair play to Leeds too.
Absolutely right. Chelsea v Leeds, this is a fixture I was looking forward to most with no COVID restriction and capacity last year. Given the history and rivalry between the 2 clubs, I'm hoping fans will be in good voice today. Exactly what you just said there, Zach.
If this was a game with no fans in the stadium, I don't think it would have been a 3-2. Like, it could have been an easy game for Chelsea, but Leeds were really, really good today.
Yeah, their fans pushed them on.
And yeah, second they went 1-0 ahead, you heard them, they were onto it. And the Chelsea fans were also very, very good. By the end of that final whistle, they were on it.
Yeah, it was a little bit as well when Aspie got taken off. In good humour, kissing the badges, going past the Leeds fans. But that's what you want. You want the rivalry to a certain extent. You don't want it to boil over. You want it to be respectful and understand each other. But there is an element to that. It is a rivalry, like Jason and Matt were saying before kickoff. There is a lot to this fixture, and you want to kind of encapsulate that, don't you? You want that to boil over onto the pitch. You want to have a passionate affair, and the players stood up to that.
Yeah, 100%, and that's what you love about the fans being there, and we missed that last season, and like Jay said, it's like, one of the atmospheres you would look forward to before the season, and it didn't, like, it lived up to expectation because the Leeds fans were on it. And I think as a Chelsea fan and Chelsea players, they're probably seeing that and they're thinking, we can't let our fans down because it's a full house. Do you know what I mean? And you could almost see it, even it boiling over at the end. There's so much passion, and you can't not love that.
Absolutely right, mate. I completely agree. Let's go back to the start of the game, in fact, because obviously it didn't start amazingly well. This stat is staggering. 40%, and obviously now 11, but 40% of the Premier League goals Chelsea have conceded this season have come from the penalty spot. The highest such ratio in the division, self-inflicted. That is...
Well, I think even if you take away just the penalties, right? You think back to a couple of other goals, like they've come from our mistakes. West Ham, there's the third goal that's kind of from us giving away the ball in midfield. Watford again, I know it's obviously not meaning to, but Ruben loses it in midfield, it's straight onto them. There's a few others that I'm thinking. It has felt like recently a lot of the goals have been down to our own mistakes, and maybe that's just due to tiredness and having played a lot of games, a lot of fixtures coming up, a lot of rotation, not quite knowing where that player is going to be because you've not played with him recently. So yeah, I think if we can stop maybe the mistakes and the silly mistakes, like even the penalty today, Alonso, like there's no real need to go in for that. Then I think we'll definitely be much better defensively.
Absolutely right. Equaliser obviously just before the half-time break as well from Mason Mount. Mason Mount is Chelsea's most important player, and there's no doubt about it, even more so now that he's added goal contributions to his game. It's the thing we spoke about, Sam, isn't it? You know, he's added that. There's a few more as well. Another game, another goal for Mount. All of these kind of underlining the rhetoric of how important Mason Mount is for us.
Yeah, and we've said that. We said that before the game as well. That when Mount's in the team, you just feel sure that in your front three, there's going to be someone that's working hard. There's someone that's dropping deep, creating chances. And now that he's scoring goals, it's so enlightening because now he's silenced those haters and he's adding to a time where really and truly, if we'd gone into half time it being 1-0 down, it could have been a problem for us. So I think that really helps with everyone knows how effective he is on the ball, but adding goals is just going to make him an all-round player. Completely
agree. It was a stat at the end there, a tweet from someone saying 10 goals and 10 assists this season we want from Mason Mount. This brings us on to our knee-jerk reaction, which we've gone a little bit above 10 and 10. We've gone to 25 goal involvements this season. And you look at the run he's on, Zach, so I don't think that's outrageous. I think if anything, he's certainly on track for that because his importance is...
If he'd done that in the Premier League, that's crazy. I think maybe more achievable in competitions.
all comps, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a solid thing. I think that's something that he might have set for himself, to be quite honest. In all competitions, like, he's a mainstay in the Chelsea team. He plays a lot of games. He gets into some great chances. He's not necessarily the first set piece taker, but he does also do the others. He takes corners. He does take other free kicks depending on their positioning in the pitch. So yeah, I think that's a possible goal for himself. And I think he himself would say, yeah, that's something I want to achieve. And that would be a really good stage for Mason Mount to get to. Because then the next stage after that is becoming a legitimate, like, one of the best players in the Premier League, which he's not too far from already. He is becoming a very, very, very integral, if not already, important player to this Chelsea side. I think a Chelsea side without Mason Mount seems a lot weaker. And he's always that guy where it gets a little bit tough when you need a goal to come from or a bit of creativity from someone. Seems to come from Money Mace.
Completely right. Let's talk about Leeds' equaliser then. It's a good goal. It's a very well-worked goal. They're a good footballing side, we knew that, and obviously when they're pushing for an equaliser, they bring on a substitute, like you said already. Rafinha coming off seemed a little bit... I mean, I think Jason said in commentary it's good news to see the back of him because he's a player that can cause you a lot of problems. Gelhardt comes on...
I think they scored like 2 minutes after
he said that. His first touch, he comes straight on and puts the ball in the back of the net. That's what you want from a substitute, a direct impact. They're a good side, like you said, they've got plenty of options going forward as well, even when they are slightly restricted through injury, but probably say deserving of the goal at the time.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think they had anything to lose at that point because they were losing. Getting a draw at Stamford Bridge is always going to be a good result for Leeds, and they just wasn't stopping. They were relentless throughout that whole second half, even up until the final whistle. Just kept on trying, and I think obviously the rivalry is there, but I've never really just not liked Leeds. I like the football that they play. I like the style of football that Bielsa's trying to implement. But getting that win last minute felt beautiful.
Just saw it said 16 shots as well for total for Chelsea, 1 off 15.
Oh, you were close. Yes, nice on Play Predictor. Have a look at your app afterwards. You might want something. Let's talk about Jorginho because he's one of those players that you notice a lot more when he's not there, and I think that's probably the biggest compliment you can pay him. You know, you saw the stat beforehand. He's so integral to the shape and the structure of this Chelsea team, but also, like you've already alluded to, his composure, his character to step up and take the penalty last minute. Not just that, but his whole round performance today, he does that thing where he digs in. He's happy to dig in and muck in when it needs to, and he's such an important character and a person to this football club.
Yeah, I think there's a thing where every manager Chelsea have had since he come here, they always love Jorginho, and I think he gets a lot of criticism. People say he doesn't necessarily contribute enough in terms of on open play goals, contributions, and stuff like that. But with the way he plays his football, like he keeps it ticking. Like without him, Chelsea probably don't play the way they play their free-flowing attacking wing backs and stuff like this. And as you said, for the penalty shootout, like the first one's a fantastic, proper Jorginho-esque penalty, and then the next one is the most high-pressure penalty. Well, I was going to say in his career, he did take one in the Euros final. However, but in that situation, it's up there for sure to get 3 points. Everything's on you, essentially the last kick of the game, realistically, or the last chance. And he does it perfectly. It's not easy. Their goalkeeper isn't tiny. He's 6'6". He's a dominating force. He was trying to intimidate him and everything. He's got a long wait as well, whilst Leeds are complaining and trying to make it a bit longer before he takes the penalty. And he steps up and he does the job. And you know what? For someone who does get a lot of criticism, he does an awfully good job.
And playing through injury as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He's actually slightly injured, so the fact that he's in the squad and he's playing. Come on, you've got to give it to him. He's so important to our team.
Yeah, absolutely. His attitude's spot on, isn't it? Quite a lot of praise coming, rightly so, on social media for Jorginho. Jorginho would be like, what Rafinha can do, I can do better. Yeah, nice. Rafinha did almost a little bit of homage in the run-up, wasn't it? Cold as ice penalty from Jorginho, as always. Yes, spot on, Nate. Absolutely. Just knows what he's doing. And Noah, call that the Jorginho since he invented scoring penalties. I like that one. It does feel like that, Sam. He's reliable. And like Zach's already said, he missed one in the Euros final. He missed one recently for Italy, but then ever since, that was kind of, oh, okay, is he on a blip? He's been faultless for Chelsea penalty spot.
Yeah, and he puts you in a position where once he scores it, it's like, why did you ever doubt him? Do you know what I mean? Because when he steps up, he breathes in, and then he takes the step. However he takes it, it's almost as if he makes his mind up before he takes it. Even if he missed a pen a few weeks ago, he'll still step up and he'll still take it. But that's the amount of belief he has in himself, and I think you can see that with the way he plays and the way he's with the other players as well.
I was going to say his technique's not easy as well. I think because
it's very hard.
Because he's slow with it and he takes his time and he waits for the goalkeeper to make his mind. When he misses, I think people get a little bit annoyed. Whereas say when Lampard or other Rooney, when they took penalties, it was very much just like smash it as in one of the corners. And so like if it was saved or whatever, they kind of went away and were saying, well, he's absolutely done a bullet. It's a great save. Whereas with Jorginho, I think some people maybe give him a bit more harshly.
There's more room for error in the way that he approaches the penalty.
Exactly. But it's a much more skilled way of taking a penalty, because when it works, as most of the time it does, it's very impressive to watch. Like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't wait for a keeper. I normally just
no, I miss it every single time.
But yeah, as you said, even in the high pressure situations, like to continue that routine says a lot about his character.
I'm sticking mine in the top tier of Matthew Harding, mate. That's long, absolutely long gone. So some very, very happy faces outside Stamford Bridge. Sam's just been out to talk to them.
Oh, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Unreal.
Brilliant game. Jorginho!
Come on!
How do you think about the results today?
Oh, amazing. I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think we made it hard for ourselves?
I think definitely in the first 20 minutes, which you have seen throughout the previous couple games, especially against West Ham and Zenit. However, we've stolen the victory back. It was incredible.
Yeah,
I didn't think we played that well, to be fair. However, pulled out of the bag the last 10 minutes. Crazy. 3 penalties. Jorginho to get 2. Top man, do you know what I mean? It's just, one of them, really. What do you think, Luca?
Yeah, it was a good game, I think. Couldn't have gone to a bad game, really.
Who's your man of the match?
I'd say Jorginho.
Jorginho, yeah?
Got to go, Jorginho. I don't think anyone stood out really well, to be fair, on the Chelsea. But, you know what I mean? The rain's come down. Not an easy game, always with Leeds, you know what I'm saying? So, it's a bit of a feisty game, always has been. So, yeah, we've done well to get the win. Well,
I mean, I'm probably Jorginho.
Jorginho, nerves are still.
Quite a lot of love for Georgie out there, Sam. And it's difficult, isn't it? Because I suppose you go from perhaps 5 or 6 minutes ago thinking, OK, we've dropped points at home, Liverpool, Man City have got a good result. Then all of a sudden, this massive high of jubilation to get the 3 points. Was it kind of reflective out there?
Yeah, and I was gutted having to go down there when it was 2-2 because I was thinking, everyone knows how big this rivalry is and what people are going to say. But as soon as that penalty went in, you could see fans screaming and how happy they were and not really caring how we got the result. It's just about getting the result and what it means for the table moving forward, and the fact that the pressure would have been so much different if it did end 2-2. Even though we didn't necessarily play bad or we wasn't dominant, it's just the fact that we conceded more goals than we used to, and it just wouldn't have been a win. But now we've got that, we can push on and learn from these mistakes that we made.
Completely right. So let's get some more reaction then, including some post-match analysis from a very special man.
Entertainment, huh? This is football, and it's beautiful, isn't it? It was a tough game, and against a tough opponent. But I think we deserved to win because we did our job. We pushed until the end. We believed in what we were doing. We believed in our team, and I think we deserved to win.
I presume you've been practicing your penalties at Cobham like you normally do. First one, beautifully in the top corner. When you get to take a second in a game, what goes through your mind? Do I go the same way? Does the goalkeeper think I'll go the same way? What do you do when
I can't answer that. I just clear my head.
Did you choose at the moment, or did you already decide?
I can't say to you. I can't tell you. Leave me alone about penalties.
How hard was your heart thumping?
I'm happy.
94th minute.
Huh?
94th minute to win it 3-2. Your heart must have been.
That's passion. That's football, and that's why we love this sport, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's football.
And City won and Liverpool won. It's a brilliant title race, isn't it, between three very, very good teams?
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think who loves football is enjoying. So that's important.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Looked like Leeds to pinch the point.
So good. The brilliant Ben Andrews. Pitch side with Jorginho, match winner, of course, 2 penalties. I love that as well, Sam. Wouldn't tell Ben. Would not tell him what his penalty secrets are. I like that.
Yeah, because really and truly, you don't really know what they're thinking. Maybe they're training for 2 penalties in a game, but you can never really guess like that's going to happen. And like we've said, nerves of steel. The first penalty was perfect. So the second pen, you're thinking, is he going to go the same place? And we saw Meslier, he actually went that way, and it looked like it was an easy penalty, but that's not an easy penalty to take with so much pressure. The fact that Leeds players are all over him. Meslier literally stepped back like 10 seconds before he took it as well. So yeah, man, love his laugh as well.
It's great, and it's so infectious. But also, there is a little bit, and Sam's kind of alluded to it there, but you almost don't want to know because there's so much analysis in the game now that someone will be watching that. Yeah. Someone will have heard how he does it. Someone will then put into practice step by step. Does his eyes go that way when he's going to take it? At what point do we think he makes his mind up? And then you never know. The penalty's not as successful because we don't know which way he's going. We don't know if he's going to do the skip. We don't know if he's going to run up and take it like he did a few months ago. You never know. That unpredictability is very important to his success, I suppose.
No, 100% makes it work. I mean, I reckon to a degree, it's very much, as he said, he just clears his head and kind of does just, let's see what happens at the time. Because he kind of, it's always waiting for the keeper to make the move first. And once he does, then he's very, very quick to change what angle he might be going for it. Like, I think a lot of people say, oh, the penalties aren't necessarily the in the bottom corners and that, but that's not what he's trying to do. He's waiting for the keeper to go to the left so he can then put it in the right, or vice versa, which really isn't easy to do. Like, it makes it so much harder than just picking a corner and going for it, because you're waiting for a keeper, the other guy, to make the first move. It's kind of like a cowboy western, like a shootout, waiting for the first person to draw. But no, it's really, really impressive, and not many people can do it to that extent. And when they've tried, some have failed.
Well, even before the game, we were talking about experience and perhaps needing to lean on those players today, as Thiago Silva and Tony Rudiger. Tony Rudiger winning 2 penalties and being absolutely up for everything, even at full time. What a character.
We said it before the game, the experience at the back, and I think there was a few times where James could have gone through, and Thiago Silva, and obviously we know he's older, he hasn't got the legs in him that he had a few years ago, but the way he reads the game is just... It's just incredible. We say it every week, but he's on a different level. The same with Rudiger. He's just constant onto you. I would hate to play against him because he just seems like the type of guy that is just, you turn around and he's just always there. Do you know what I mean? And even in your box, you're thinking, why are you here? You're supposed to be at the back. But he's just always trying to cause havoc wherever he is, and we've seen winning 2 penalties, and I think both of them were penalties, so we're lucky to get them in, man.
I'm very against knowing too much about footballers. I don't want to know everything. I want them to be this kind of elusive character a little bit, but I would love to mic up Tony Rudiger for one game, just to find out, because I bet his chat, I bet the way that he talks to his own players, and even when he's involved in everything, I would love to hear and know what goes through his mind. I'll tell you, let's get a little bit behind the smes access from us. So this is reaction cams, which is a bit of a roller coaster today. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure we're going to want to watch these back, actually. I'm not sure which goals these are from.
I think that first one was when we conceded.
Not sure what these. Again, this is the difficult.
That was a Havertz chance, I think.
The reason there's no sound is because I think a lot of these peaked when there was chances going in. We were quite noisy today, and because we are right beside the shed, it's quite noisy as well when the game is going on. But great reaction. That must have been from the first.
That's the second goal.
That's
the second pen. That's them scoring. That's them scoring. That's us getting a penalty.
Oh my word!
And then this is us scoring it. You almost sent me absolutely flying. I almost went over the Chelsea side and everything.
What is going on?
I did not clock that jacket. I did not do that. Like a toddler when it's raining. And then
Oh my gosh, the emotions in this game were actually mad.
It's a big game, it's a big rivalry, and that's what you want, isn't it? You want that passion, and look, that's the thing, right?
That's great.
That's the thing. We live and breathe it. Like every Chelsea fan is watching the game, you live and breathe for every single moment, and it felt like that going through the game, Sam. It did have that Chelsea Leeds thing. It had that thing that, again, in all honesty, you've got to be brutally honest about it. We're too young to have remembered a lot of the sort of fractious years between Chelsea Leeds and these big rivalries, these big derbies and everything. But just what a sensational start! Just incredible game today.
Yeah, if that was anything like it was back then I'm happy that we were able to experience that, because it was exciting. Even though we had moments where we're thinking, oh come on, let's just get the win. I'd rather just a 2-0 win. Looking now in hindsight, the 3-2 just feels so much better. The last minute penalty win, the havoc that happened after as well. It almost epitomises the rivalry.
Completely right. Big game tomorrow in the FA Youth Cup as well, Zach. Chelsea got Leyton Orient, and especially as any Chelsea fan, we're showing it on the fifth stand up 11:55 to be tuned in for that one. It's going to be really good because there's a lot of us now, especially with the likes of Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Reece James, that have come through and are playing a big part. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Trevor Chalobah. That you want to sort of keep across the next batch, the next run of youngsters that are going to get an opportunity in the team. So it's going to be an interesting one tomorrow. And I suppose now that we've played and we've won on a Saturday, everyone's in a good mood. it makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it? It makes it a little bit better because then you want to get involved in it, you want to see it a little bit more. And maybe one or two of these players with the injury problems we've got coming up might find themselves a starting position in the FA Cup game for Chelsea, or at least football over the next couple of months. Yeah,
yes, it's a very, very good point. No, I mean, look, with the way Cobham's been over the past couple of years, it's really, really impressive. And the talent in the squad coming up is, and even below as well, from 18s, 19s, even 15s, to be quite honest, there are some really, really impressive players. It feels like we're at a point now where every single year there's going to be a Cobham graduate into the first team. This year it's been Trevor Chalobah. The year after it could be Colwill, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many different players coming through. And yeah, I think it's fun to watch these guys come. And even it's fun to see that, okay, they may not make it into the first team, but then Tino Livramento is balling out at Southampton for us. And you see, it feels like there's a bit of Chelsea in every single Premier League team that have either had time at Cobham like Declan Rice did, or had moved on, or made it into the first team like Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Reece James, all these guys that have gone on so much more. So yeah, definitely make sure you're watching at home.
And then Champions League draw Monday, Sam, so it's all busy.
Give us whoever. I don't really mind. At this point, like we said at the beginning, Champions League, it's the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? Last year we played two of the best teams in Spain. This year, whoever comes, I know Tuchel will prepare the team and the boys will be ready. And we have that chip on our shoulder because we're the champions and we want to, have a good showing of ourselves. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely right. And obviously, lots more still to come on the fifth stand up this week. As we mentioned, the FA Youth Cup tomorrow afternoon. Well, tomorrow morning, technically, 11:55. And then on Thursday, Chelsea are in Premier League action. Matchday live will be at 6:40 as we take on Everton, who have got an interesting run of fixtures over the next couple of weeks and now picked up a good result over the last couple of days. And obviously, football carries on very, very quickly. We've got lots more, including Wolves a week tomorrow, then Brentford in the Carabao Cup, and then we're into Christmas. So, yeah, busy. Boys, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. What a game of football. Chelsea Leeds has always got a little bit extra on it. Today we had a little bit extra, and thankfully, in extra time, Chelsea won it. Have a good weekend.